All right, guys, so my headache's doing a little bit better. Not all the way there, but we're getting better. We don't really know what the heck is causing the fever and the headache together, but we'll see what happens. Take it with time, I guess. Plan to do the Murph this weekend, so that's cool. I got to get her wound washed out. I don't know if you can see it. I don't even know if I want to show it. It looks pretty ugly yet, but it is definitely healing. Gonna get her some grain. I'll get her feeling good. She's gonna have a baby in a month or so, a little over a month, so we got to get her healthy and stuff for that. And then I'll go get the steers fed. All right, well, the good news is no mice seem to be around today. No more bags torn open. None of them are on the sticky traps, but maybe the poison worked. Look at that. I no more than dump the grain in the bucket, and then them guys come running around the corner. Man, they're loving it. Okay, so today I just want to talk to you a little bit about building out a small-scale ranch. One might call it homesteading. So often I see a lot of people say that, they want to get started ranching, or they want to move to the ranch, get out of the big city, get started, or maybe they grew up with livestock and then, for whatever reason, they lost their family ranch already. Things that we're trying to stop with the Agri Summit group, things we're trying to help people prevent. But what happens if you already did it? What happens if you don't already have cattle and you want to get started? And you don't necessarily want to have a big feedlot. You want to have you want to start small. You want to start with 3 head, get started, and just, experience some of what ranching's all about, homesteading's all about. Well, in that case, I would say do not do what 90% of homesteaders / small scale ranchers do. And that is buy some chickens, buy some ducks, buy some goats, buy some cows, like 2 of each. Don't do that. Pick an animal. I would choose cattle. Why? There's a lot of reasons why I would choose cattle. And a lot of that has to do with what I know already. But I think cattle has the best opportunity for, at least from my experience, I'm sure you can scale eggs to make them profitable and goat meat and stuff, but they're just larger animals, so they're going to have excess meat, so where if you needed to sell some of that off for profit, you could do so. That's why I would pick cattle. And then also because I know that. But if you already have chickens, like if maybe you have a family with goats, maybe you have a family with chickens, so then you can start with that. But don't do what many do and just jump into all these different markets at the same time. Start with one. Start small. If you have to rent some yard space, I have this nice little yard right here. Luckily, I have a couple acres of pasture around here that I'm able to utilize. I'm able to rent it from my parents. I'm lucky in that way, yes. But if you don't have that, you can go and find somebody. Find somebody who's an older generational rancher and see if they'd be willing to rent you a little bit of space. Better get these guys fed. They're getting antsy. So why do I say that? Start with the small scale thing of doing one and learn the industry. Get some sort of competitive advantage in it. You might have more than one goal. You might want to still keep your full-time income in town or work remote, or maybe you want to start making all of your income from the ranch. But either way, I think I would start with one. No matter what you want to do, you want to become efficient at that thing. Even if your goal is just to, and you might hear this, good rain on the tin roof. It's a benefit of having a tin roof. No matter how many people say that shingles are better, they are wrong. Tin roofs are always better. In my opinion, my personal opinion, when you don't have a competitive advantage in the marketplace, even for something that you're trying to grow, you're always going to get screwed out of better prices. Won't get better feed. You'll be suckered into buying the, just the most convenient feed for all of your different choices of animals. Now, would it be cool for me to have chickens and, maybe even a couple ducks and, even a couple goats, dare I say? Yeah, I'm sure that would be cool. I'm starting small with 3 head. 3 head of cattle. And when you become efficient at producing beef or meat, then you can understand how that works, how to get better cost of production, just what type of equipment you do need, don't need, because it doesn't matter who you are. Some people waste their money on silly gadgets and gizmos that they don't really need. Some people are going to tell you need this. Some people are going to tell you need this. Well, you're going to find out what you need for your specific operation. You're going to find out what works for you How much convenient aspect do you need to pay for? How much of it can you get around? How much of it can you figure out just with your ingenuity and your smarts and your brilliance that you're bringing to the table? You are an individual person developing your small ranch, your homestead. Then after that, when you start to develop that system, then you can scale up in that same industry. You can scale it up enough to where you have enough profit that you can begin to dabble in these other industries. Now, if you don't want to, if you're going to raise beef and sell that for profit, then that doesn't mean I think you should go, sell eggs and lamb and these other things at farmers markets and things like that, because honestly, that's not really that profitable. You could do that if you just like it and you enjoy it and enjoy the social aspect of it. But just stick with that one industry as your profit maker, and then have those other things for your personal use. Like for me, someday maybe we'll have chickens. I will probably only have enough chickens that we eat most of the eggs. The eggs add up if you don't eat them, so I don't want to just go and have a bunch of eggs, and I don't want to try to sell a bunch because we have other neighbors around here that do that. It is really coming down now. I feel bad for the cows that are trying to eat right now. And the horse I just fed, she's eating outside too. Kind of came out of nowhere, but we really needed the moisture, so I'm glad that we're getting some rain. That industry, you start to learn to profit, you scale. And if you want to do it in cattle, make sure you go check out the Agri Summit group. I'd appreciate it. And even if that doesn't interest you at this point, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. The more subscribers I have on this channel, the more content I can put out for you. The more time, the more value I can give to you as a subscriber. We're helping family ranches make more money, more profit, to ensure that they are in the game next year and for years to come. Because I'm sick and tired. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of all these investors buying up all the farm ground, buying out all the ranches, plowing over them. I'm sick and tired of it, guys. Small ranchers, family ranchers can be profitable, and I'm proving it. I'm starting with 3 head. I'm documenting the entire process. And if you want to watch that, if you want to help support that, subscribe to the channel. And if you are that person trying to do the same, make sure you check out Agri Summit. You get a 7-day free trial. I don't want to give you a huge sales pitch. I just really, really appreciate you guys watching this video. Till next time, God bless.